Hello, I'm James Lott Jr. Welcome to A Lot of Help with James Lott Jr. here on JLJ Media. I want to talk to you guys about fandoms. Seriously. But I do want to start by saying those of us who are content creators of any sort, whether it's music, painting, like I said, I shouldn't say just music. Well, because I was going to start veering off, but let me stick with this thought. Music, television, radio, podcasting, movies, TV, acting, whatever. We know that getting somebody as a fan is not easy. First of all, we know it's not. So you take for granted. Not everybody has fans. To have someone believe in your work and believe in it so strongly, that's a win for the artist, for the creative person who is bringing this to you. It's The creative process is a lot of work to give you a finished product, and to hope that someone, anybody, will actually even like enjoy it, let alone become a fan of it, is a big deal. I have fans. I have the Lotties, which is self-named, and I appreciate them very much. I have fandoms that appreciate me, like the Hardys and others. Certain soap fandoms, like Try as Tigers or Sweet Nation. We have a mutual love society for each other. I really appreciate that. And I treat my fans with utmost respect. I try my best to make sure that they're seen, they are heard, they are felt. I do my best within reason, obviously, to do that. I try to give good product. That's my job, is to give good products. Most of the time, when it comes to TV, I'm reacting to television. I'm giving my opinion, or I'm recapping a show. I know what my role is. This is what I do. Now, with that said, obviously fans have their role too. They watch a show, they have their thoughts. And my shows, we foster that. We want you to come to tell me how you feel about a show. And it's funny because I was never an online person like that. Online was more like somebody else's stuff. I just post things. I didn't really participate so much into it. And I participate more. I participate less now because it's just too toxic. It's gotten toxic in ways that I just think naturally that's what will happen. I think people have always been this way out in the world, but now we have platforms you can express yourself on. So I don't think it's a phenomenon of any sort that it's like, this is where does come from. I just think it's what it is. And I always say on my shows that I always give everybody credit that you can 10 folks can watch the same show and feel 10 different ways. And that's just true. We're all coming to the shows that we watch. We see TV with whatever we're coming in with. We all watch the shows for many reasons. And one of the things that always gets me is when one storyline or one thing happens on the show, there are people who are like, the whole show sucks. The whole show's ruined. I'm like, the whole show? Now, I understand you're not liking a certain storyline, but you say the whole. So all the other ones you don't like either? Oh, no, I don't mind the other ones. They're fine. But the show now sucks because it's one. That's where I'm like, it's your right to do that, of course, and feel that way. But I still feel like that's weird. On daytime shows or on a lot of shows, like people will fast forward through scenes. I do it too, folks, sometimes. That I get to get to the good parts. But I've noticed some prime time, though, people will condemn a show, i.e., some of the Hardys, they will condemn a whole show over one storyline. Like, but no, there's some great other stuff that happened on the storyline. It's great. And that's where I'm not confused, but my kind of thought goes, I'm like, wow, that's where it starts to split. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I believe there are fans and there are fanatics. And there are folks who just want attention. There are folks who actually probably don't really give a shit. But, well, for attention online, they will start something. We call them trolls or whatever, people, bots or whatever. They do it on purpose. So there's that percentage of folks who don't really have any vested interest, period. They just want to join in the fun, and it's fun for them. But I speak to those who fall in the first two categories. I know for me, Days of Our Lives, very well documented. I joined watching it because of one person, Christian Alfonso, who played Hope Williams Brady. But she was Hope Williams back then. So she was beautiful, loved her character, related to her. I started watching the show because of her. But to me, that's natural. There's times when someone could bring you in, or a coupling, or whatever. You're like, oh, or a story like that brought me in. But however, I began to watch the other characters and like all, and like the show in general. And maybe I'm one of those rare people, but I watch full shows. And it also goes for me not watching full shows. Because I do agree, sometimes for you as a person watching a show, you may feel the show is not exactly why you were watching in the first place. Shows evolve and change. That's just what happens with writing. And when they go long term, it just happens. And for me, I always use Walking Dead as an example. I watched the first, 8 seasons. I stopped watching. They did a bunch of stuff in one of the seasons, and I just didn't, the whole show as a whole, not just one character, the whole show as a whole, I didn't care for. So I stopped watching. And that is something. Sorry, one second. So it's just something that is, for me, was very strong. I stopped watching the show. I voiced my opinion here and there. But I was like, okay, I'm out. For me, I didn't tell the head writers. I demand an answer. I didn't go to the producers. I demand an answer. Why you did this instead of that? They were on talk shows. They did interviews, and they expressed why they did what they did for certain things on Walking Dead. Now, 90% of the shows don't even tell you why they do shit. They just do it, and you have to deal with it. They don't even go on press. A lot of writers don't do press. A lot of executive producers don't do press. Usually, it's the actors. The actors are hired hands. So I've seen the vitriol thrown at actors. I'm like, they're just doing their job. Like, they're hired to do this. It's not their job to judge or whatever. It's like they're here to do a job. So I've seen that. But going after writers, going after producers, I understand, since they created the whatever you didn't like, it's easy. I did some interviews recently, and one of them was with an executive producer of a show called When It Calls to Heart, and one of the writers, the showrunner of When It Calls to Heart. I want to do more interviews, of course. I know going into these interviews, there's a segment of the population who watches the show who's not happy about a storyline. And I get it. I guess, and so I did interviews as I wanted to do them. I wanted to find out what's going on behind the scenes. I asked certain questions, blah blah. My thing is, because I've made some comments back to, I've clapped back to some folks, because I don't work for the show, and I'm not work for the channel, so I can see whatever the F I want. But I clap back to it, and my whole thing is kind of like, no one's censoring you. You said you have your platforms, you have your pages. You said you found other people who agree with you, so you said what you don't like. No one's stopping you. But every page, even including yours, you can do whatever you want with. I always say my page isn't a democracy; it's dictatorship. I can have whatever I want on my page. That's everybody's right, including the show's page. If they don't want a barrage of just negative comments, screaming and hollering and name calling, they have a right to do that. I've seen people like, I want the head writer to see what I'm saying. We're being censored, and I want the head writer to see what I have to say. Trust me, in the writer's room, when they're doing storylines, this is for all shows, they know when they make a decision. They know this. They make a decision that a segment of that population will be upset. They know it already. Also, you can't please everyone all the time. You just can't. Just on any show, it just doesn't work out. So I already know. Some of these pages, and so the directed tweets at certain people, they saw your comments. They know you're upset. Many of you are not saying anything newer than anybody else said. No, you're not saying anything that's any new that they haven't heard. They've heard everything. A lot of them watch my shows or watch other opinion shows. They've seen our comments. They've heard and seen them. They've seen them. They don't need 1,000 more people saying the same thing to them over and over again. It just doesn't. I mean, that's not fun. And also, they chose what they chose when they chose it. So why would they go on shows with people who are angry about it to have to sit there and defend their choice over and over and over and over and over and over again? They made their choice. It's done. They did it. There is nothing they're going to say that'll make whatever particular fan base happy. It's done. They did it. They stand by the story. They stand by what they did. They're writers. And like I said, you guys don't know everything that goes on in the show. I don't know everything that goes on in the show. But they're standing by it. So it's like, okay, we have to move on. Shows are busy. They're expensive. And you have every right to not watch the show or continue it. You have a right to feel disappointed if you felt you wanted the storyline to go a certain way. You have all those rights. I call stuff out all the time. If I see something goes, that's kind of a little weird, or that should be more of that. I call things, that's my job. I do all the time. And I have a right to go, I'm not going to watch it. Or I have a right to go, I'm going to continue watching it. I'll let that slide. You know, I think it's one of those things where, in my part of the profession, where I talk to people in the business and try to bring you some behind the scenes backstage stuff, I hear people ask me like, why don't you ask him this? I'm like, it's not going to, the show is done. The season is over. It's done. They're already working on the next season. You know, or they're playing another season. Like, it's already done. They moved on. And so it's my thing is, no one owes you anything. Yes, you're fans. And what they owe you is content. To put out content, what they feel is the best. Now, do all shows always hit it? No. Lost season 3, I was a little lost. They got me back later in season 5. Some shows, they veer off in ways you're like, well, I don't care for that. And that's totally fine. I don't wish shows off the air. I just go, okay, either I'll stop watching or not watch as much, or I'll come back to it, or not. Shows, yeah, sometimes shows aren't the same as what they started. But demanding people come and talk. I remember I was doing my interview with before she came on the show, my girl Krista Allen for Bold and the Beautiful. I was actually, we had on the show, she was giving me exclusive. We're doing fine. I had the Bolds, Graces, because Chris and I are friends. We had to break with the Graces. And people were asking her to make them feel good because the original actress was not going to be on the show. Krista was gracious. You can watch that interview. It's on my channel. She was gracious. Like, let's talk about that. Hunter Tyler chose not to come back. Had nothing to do with Krista. And Krista hadn't even started the role yet. And also, it's like, yes, the wigs. I mean, she really talked about her hair and the wigs, but she was gracious. She didn't have to do that. But she wanted to talk to the fans because we do love the fans. Shows don't want to lose fans. Shows don't want to make fans angry, but they know that to create a drama, it's going to happen. And shows take different directions. And they also know that certain folks are going to say, I wish I loved the old show. I love the way the show used to be. I almost said used to be. Makes sense. Oh, I mean, I'm like, I mean, I get it. Some shows veer off in ways you're like, no thanks, I'm good. And that's fine. But we demand answers. We feel bamboozled. Like, okay, well, you feel that way. I can't tell you not to feel that way. But they don't owe you answers. Especially if they are doing interviews and telling you why they chose what they chose. So you want to just keep browbeating them until what? They're not going to say anything that you want to hear. There are head writers of soaps that some folks hate. There are executive producers of soaps that some folks hate. Well, they're on the company likes them, so they're keeping them on the show. So it's up to you to go, well, I'm not watching Young and Restless because I don't care for Josh Griffith. Or I'm not going to watch Days of Our Lives because I don't care for Ron Calavardi. I'm not going to watch, it's up to you. You have the right. And you have a right to go online and talk all the shit you want. You can. Great. Okay. Not going to change nothing. Like, shows make decisions because they make decisions for reasons. But the fans are great. We love fans. We want fans. That's what shows want. they lose viewership, then of course you can't be on the air. But also, I think that's another thing too. Don't only try to use ratings because all ratings are down everywhere for every show across the board. There's just too many. There's just too many choices out there, and too many. And now viewing habits are completely different. So everything's been recalibrated. So the way ratings are is recalibrated now. It's a different setup. Just is. So I tell people, let's relax. No, but they have heard you. It's all been heard. It's already happened. Nothing's going to happen now from that. So when I do interviews, I don't block comments and I don't censor comments. Say what you want to me. I'm a big boy. I've been called worse by better. But if I talk to you back to you, or make a comment, you brought on yourself. If you bring a comment to me, I will respond back to you sometimes. Sometimes I won't. What I do. Depends on the mood of that day. But I can last all day and all. I mean, I don't really give a shit. But my thing is, I support television. I support my friends. That's why I love all the strikes are going on. I support all my friends in television, and I support the fans who understand storylines are meant to give you an emotion. They're meant to cause you an emotion, and it's okay to feel those emotions. But ultimately, either stick with the show or don't. I know some people who stopped watching General Hospital for certain things, and now the storyline's picked up. They're back. That's your right to do. Like, do it. That's your right to do that. You know, everybody's time is valuable. Your time is valuable. My time is valuable. Everybody's time is valuable. You don't have to watch anything you don't want to watch. You should be watching shows that make you feel enjoyable, make you feel good. I totally agree with that. Completely. I have no problem with that. I watch shows that I like. I don't even watch a lot of television, but the ones I watch shows that I like them. And again, I love my fans. I love the fans. I always try to, we don't always agree on everything, that's fine too. I don't do that. And I try to be as respectful as I can. But if you come with me disrespectful, a lot of times I will respond in kind because I'm petty. I can do that. And it's a free world from me to you, just like it is for you. And I'm not bound by studios. So my thing is, in the end, shows are shows. They're meant to provoke and evoke emotion. If they're good, they will. But you ultimately have choice. And screaming and hollering and death threats and name calling, all that is just, that doesn't, no one murdered your family. No one took your food and shelter. There are major things happening in the world. Trust me. I hate doing the Pain Olympics, but in some of these cases, I got to pull it out and go, a coupling that didn't get married on a show, it's really not that important. Not really. Sorry. If your life was turned upside down over a couple on a show, you need therapy. You need serious psychotherapy because our economy is at risk. Our freedom is at risk. Around the world, there's things going on. Happy people are, it's horrific. Horrific. We should be praying for peace. We should be praying for people. We should be doing other stuff than back and forth of demanding answers from a writer of a TV show on a Hallmark channel. I mean, come on, folks. I mean, let's wake up. And I think there's so many other things going on. We got to handle it. And I know folks will get offended. I say, don't tell me it's just a TV show. Well, I'm telling you, it's just a TV show. In the large scheme of things, it's just a TV show. There are some folks who don't have water, who don't have food, or can't get a job, or are still dealing with the long effects of COVID. I've had a major year this year of major shit going on in my life. That all these TV shows mean nothing to me compared to what's going on in my family life. So I see it, I go, wow, you need therapy. I'm sorry. If you guys you're writing 5-page stories about what you think should have happened and all the conspiracy theories about a TV show, sorry. That's how I feel. And the comments can happen. Come at me. I don't give a shit. Come at me. But my point is, where is compassion? Where is sensibility? Where is reality? When it comes to stuff like this. Expressing yourself is fine. Not having you also just not liking something, that's fine too. That's part and parcel of TV shows and any kind of fandom, sports, movies, anything, superheroes. That's kind of how it is. But the folks that just go too far with threats and things, it's just that's too much. That is very much too much. And that's my thoughts on this. I may get some nasty comment. I don't care. It's fine. But I always have to speak my truth, and I do all the time. I speak whatever I feel, whether it's on race, religion, sex, sexual orientation, attitude, mindset, organization. I talk about it. I just bring it. I talk about it, and I think conversations are always great to be had. And we should always bring up stuff that we see that we feel is hurting the village, because I consider you all part of the village, and I want to enjoy the village, our time together. And all those families I mentioned, I want to enjoy our time together. Let's have some fun. Let's have some. I mean, it's like again, the world is just so effed up right now. We need some. So we need to be banding together. That's my thoughts. And you can follow me at lottahelp.com. You can follow me on JLJ Media or James Lott Jr. Whatever, or don't follow me or unfollow me, whatever you want to do. That's fine. But I'm out there. Now I'll continue speaking up on things as long as I still got a voice. And I want you, hopefully, those of you out there who agree with me or feel similar to I do, you speak up too and drown out the others. Have a nice day.